This is like the following sentence. Why are you so...
After I posted that I should put a page number.
Yours is on page 3.
I didn't put my page number either.
Yours is on page 4.
You have to put your page numbers, girls, when you go back, so that we can find them. But yeah, so the example that, find the page 4. Is it the same section?
Yours is on page 3, Jacinda's.
Jacinda's is on 3. So yours is kind of like, everybody was telling the same story about not being able to control it and how we have all these rituals around what we do. And then this, what stood out to Cheryl was kind of the question. What are you so afraid of about not being able to control rationally that you use all these magical spells and rituals? Hers is kind of the next question of like, what is it? And hers seems to talk about that issue of fear, right? What are you so afraid of? Not being able to control rationally that you have to use these magical spells. Because, magical spells and rituals feel completely unrational, right? Is that part of what was speaking to you about it?
Yeah, and I think just that, putting into words all those weird things that people do and that I do, to prepare myself to write. And they do seem like weird rituals and somehow magical. They'll somehow get me to a place where I'm able to just overcome the writer's block.
There's something.
If you think about, if you put it into words and you say that, it just sounds weird.
It does, right? It's just, I'm trying to find the right words for this too, because obviously you heard me say I had to clean my house. I know I have to clean my house, but what is it about that, right? There's something about these things that don't feel like writing, right? These are not things that are about writing sometimes.
I feel like sometimes I do those weird things because I know how to accomplish them, and I have something to check off my list. I can accomplish something. I might not be able to get past this writer's block or to know where to start, but it's less overwhelming to...
Say a little bit more. So are you saying that when you're starting to get stuck as a writer, right, you can't control, you're feeling out of control, right? Writer's block is something where you don't feel control. It's completely a sense of can't do it, right? There's no control. There's no agency. And so one way in which we get some control is we turn to things that are familiar, where we have some control, and we get something done. So we feel it's really a way to kind of give yourself, it's recognizing something small so that you can return to the difficult thing. So I'm going to use my snowboarding analogy. Who skis or snowboards or does anything athletic that's difficult or creative or crafting? Okay. Think of any skill, cooking. Think of anything that you do where you try to do something at the next level harder. Often if you feel stuck and you as I'm on the hill and it's too steep and I'm a little afraid, I often want to go and do an easier hill to get my confidence back so that I can remember that I know I have enough skill to get down the mountain. And I've kind of forgotten how to get down the mountain when it gets steep because now my head is in the way and I'm stuck. But once I go down the easier hill, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I know how to turn. I'm good. I can do it. And then I can go back to that harder hill. It still is going to take me longer sometimes because it's still more challenging. But there's this need to go back. It's that going back a step and going, okay, I know how to do something that I have control over. And I know it's not even related to your writing, which is what's weird, right? It's not, but it kind of is. Because what it is it's often about changing your emotional, it's changing your emotional psyche and getting into a place of feeling confident again as an individual and believing in yourself. Because the thing that's happening here when you get writer's block is you're not believing in yourself, in your skills. And so when you are able to go, I believe in myself, I can get stuff done, you're able to kind of move forward. Which, by the way, this is an area, this is one of my post-tenure projects. And I'm so glad I was actually recording this because I might return to this. So this is one of the things I believe as a writing teacher. but I don't have any research yet. I want to hook up with some psychology people and hook people up to wires, and I want to test their emotional response. I think one of the difficulties with writing that we can't, one of the most difficult things about teaching people how to write is teaching them how to get out of the emotional place when they get stuck. Because getting feedback, getting stressed out, all of these things stop us from completing our projects. Because we don't believe in ourselves, we get scared. And here's the thing, how does the body react to stress? Fight or flight. I mean, if you think about us as animals, Anna would be interested in having this discussion right now probably. But I think that there's something that's going on when we get stressed out. Our cortisol levels are going up. We're getting so caught up, we can't focus anymore. So one of the things is, how do we deal with the emotional baggage? And I call it baggage because it's about fears. How do we deal with the emotional blockage and move on? And one of the ways is we have to get some sense of control and confidence. And usually it's not by doing something harder. It's going back to something a little more manageable. Even if it's writing, I'm going to go work on the part of my lit review that I can, that's why I was asking, where do you want to go right now? Do you want to work on that lit review more? Because or do you need to break away from it and go to the part that's easier? Or do you need to hit the new chapter? Sometimes you need to go back to the one you know better and kind of fine tune, because that'll help you with your confidence rather than going to the part that's really, really stressing you out. Okay.